What comes to mind when you think of Michael Jordan's 1996 season? For most, it's the image of an unstoppable basketball machine, leading the Chicago Bulls to a historic 72-10 regular season record and capping it off with another NBA championship. It's often hailed as the most perfect season in NBA history, a symbol of dominance, and a testament to Jordan's unparalleled greatness. But beneath the surface, there's more to this story. What many fans may not realize is that this triumphant season wasn't just about basketball. It was about redemption, personal challenges, and a return to greatness after one of the most surprising retirements in sports history. Today, we're going to explore the parts of Michael Jordan's 1996 season that often go unnoticed and untold. We'll dig deep into why Jordan retired, what led him back to the NBA, what he accomplished upon his return, and how it all changed the landscape of basketball forever. Why Jordan retired? To understand why 1996 was so significant for Michael Jordan, we first need to go back to 1993, when Jordan shocked the world by retiring at the peak of his career. So, why did he leave? There were several factors that contributed to Jordan's decision. First, there was the immense pressure. Being Michael Jordan meant living under an intense spotlight 24/7. Not only was he expected to win, but he was also expected to be flawless. That pressure eventually took its toll, both mentally and physically. But the tipping point came in the form of personal tragedy. In the summer of 1993, Michael Jordan's father, James Jordan, was tragically murdered. James Jordan wasn't just Michael's father. He was his best friend, his mentor, and his biggest supporter. They shared an incredibly close bond, and losing him in such a senseless way left Jordan devastated. His father had always wanted Michael to play baseball, and in the wake of his passing, Jordan decided to fulfill that dream. In October 1993, Jordan announced his retirement from basketball, and by 1994, he had signed a minor league baseball contract with the Chicago White Sox. His foray into baseball wasn't particularly successful, but for Jordan, it was never about success. It was about healing, processing his grief, and stepping away from the constant pressure of being a global superstar. Why Jordan returned? By 1995, however, the itch to compete at the highest level was too much to resist. Jordan had nothing left to prove in basketball, yet his love for the game had reignited. On March 18, 1995, Michael Jordan made the simplest yet most iconic announcement in sports history: "I'm back." Jordan's return to the Bulls wasn't immediately triumphant. Coming back late in the 1994-95 season, he was still shaking off the rust, and the Bulls were eliminated in the playoffs by the Orlando Magic. Critics began to whisper that maybe Jordan wasn't the same anymore. Maybe his time had passed. Michael Jordan, being who he was, took those whispers personally. The 1995-96 season became his mission to prove that not only was he back, but he was better than ever. And boy, did he prove it, breaking records and making history. What Jordan did in 1996 wasn't just about winning games and titles. It was about collecting hardware at an unprecedented rate. That year, he won his fourth NBA MVP award, marking him as the league's most valuable player yet again. He also led the league in scoring, averaging 30.4 points per game, securing his 8th scoring title. His dominance wasn't limited to the offensive end. Jordan's tenacious defense earned him a spot on both the All-NBA First Team and the NBA All-Defensive First Team. His ability to lead the Bulls to a 72-10 regular season record, the best in NBA history at the time, underscored his ability to elevate not just himself, but his entire team. Beyond individual achievements, Jordan's performance in the playoffs was the stuff of legends. He won his 4th NBA Finals MVP award after leading the Bulls to victory over the Seattle Supersonics. Despite battling fierce defense, particularly from Gary Payton, Jordan found ways to impact the game, from clutch scoring to defensive stops. This season wasn't just one of the best of Jordan's career. Many consider it one of the greatest individual seasons in NBA history, a perfect storm of skill, leadership, and determination. Jordan and the Bulls jumped out to a 3-0 lead in the series, but things weren't as easy as they seemed. Payton's relentless defense began to wear Jordan down. Games 4 and 5 went to Seattle, and suddenly, there were doubts. Could the Bulls finish the job? Was Jordan finally looking human? But, like the champion he was, Jordan bounced back. In Game 6, he willed his team to victory, clinching his fourth NBA title and Finals MVP. It wasn't his best Finals performance. Statistically, he struggled with his shooting, but he found other ways to contribute, like his defense and leadership. In the end, it was another championship for Jordan, and it cemented his comeback as one of the greatest stories in sports history. What Jordan did in 1996 wasn't just about winning games and titles, it was about transforming the NBA and leaving a lasting legacy. By winning 72 games, Jordan's Bulls set a new benchmark for what a championship team could achieve. For years, that 72-win record stood as untouchable, a gold standard in basketball. It wasn't until 2016, when the Golden State Warriors won 73 games, that the record was broken. Even then, the Warriors couldn't win the championship, which only underscored how difficult it was to not only dominate in the regular season, but also finish the job in the playoffs. Nike's marketing of the Air Jordan brand reached new heights, and the NBA itself became more popular than ever. Michael Jordan didn't just dominate the basketball court, he dominated popular culture. He was everywhere, in commercials, movies, magazines, and on every kid's bedroom wall. One of the most powerful elements of Jordan's 1996 season was the story of redemption. After his father's tragic death and his brief stint in baseball, many thought that Jordan's best days were behind him. But by coming back, by dominating the league again, Jordan showed the world what true perseverance looks like. He could have easily stayed retired, enjoyed his millions, and walked off into the sunset as one of the greatest athletes of all time. Instead, he chose the harder path. He chose to come back, to face the critics, and to prove to himself and the world that he still had more to give. His comeback wasn't just a sports story, it was a human story. It was about overcoming personal tragedy, mental exhaustion, and the weight of expectation to reach even greater heights. Before Michael Jordan, the concept of greatness in the NBA was largely based on talent and ability.
But after the 1996 season,
Greatness was redefined. It wasn't just about how good you were, it was about how you elevated those around you, how you handled adversity, and how you performed when it mattered most. Jordan's leadership and competitive spirit became the model for future generations. Players like Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and many others have all cited Jordan's 1996 season as an inspiration. They saw how he carried himself, how he demanded excellence from himself and his teammates, and they adopted that mindset in their own careers. So, what didn't they tell you about Michael Jordan's perfect 1996 season? They didn't tell you that it wasn't just about basketball. It was about overcoming personal loss, silencing critics, and proving that even after stepping away from the game, you can come back and be better than ever. They didn't tell you that Jordan's comeback wasn't guaranteed to be successful. It took work, dedication, and a relentless desire to be the best. And they didn't tell you that Jordan's 1996 season didn't just change the NBA, it changed the entire sports world. It set a new standard for what greatness looks like and showed us all what it means to truly persevere. Thank you all so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into Michael Jordan's legendary 1996 season, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below.